program, 10 weeks, really quick in the summer, and it's focused on accelerating technology and applying that technology to humanity's greatest challenges. So we actually came up with the idea for Getaround based on the challenge that Larry Page from Google gave us, which was come up with a big idea, something that can positively impact 1 million people in 10 years. And with that, we were able to get our first investors. Basically, it's a school, but it kind of was an incubator in the first year because we had these amazing founders which would work with us almost every day as we were developing quick iterations of the concept. We were actually able to do a beta at the school with about 100 students, which helped us a lot to really prove that this could work. So the main thing we were trying to prove was, will people share their cars with strangers? And that 3 years ago was a completely crazy idea. It's slowly becoming more mainstream, which is really cool to see. Essentially, through that, we got our initial angels, and they actually gave us the initial capital to found the company and overcome some really key hurdles. So with Getaround, we had 4 major hurdles that we had to overcome to get to market. We built our own hardware called the Getaround Car Kit. We actually had to get laws passed. We also had to get a custom insurance policy developed and an iPhone app. Things that not every startup has to do, but through our investors who were really committed to our mission, we really felt like we had the backing and the confidence to go out there and make it happen. So one other thing in terms of our launchpad is we actually did a hackathon, and it was really helpful because you basically could get an MVP of your product in a weekend. We actually won most money making iPhone app in that weekend, and Zipcar was all like, whoa, what's going on? Who are these guys? And so it's kind of some early proof points. So pick your launchpad carefully. It can be really, really helpful to getting investment and getting out there. Another way is to raise on a high point. So if you do pick a launchpad and you get a lot of buzz or you have early traction, whatever it is, as you're getting some early credibility, you can use that to raise your money, raise funding and get good investors. So we actually launched Getaround at TechCrunch Disrupt 2011 in New York City. And we had raised 80% of a $3.4 million seed round rate before that. But in our last 20%, we just had so much interest because we won TechCrunch Disrupt, we won the Audience Choice Award. We got about 200 press articles out of that. So it kind of put us on the map, and it meant that we had the top investors wanting to back us, which was a really good feeling because a short year before, we were bootstrapping, no one wanted to fund us. And it was this crazy idea. So the thing to remember here is that when you're raising on a high point, you can actually use the momentum you have to build urgency with investors. And that's never a bad thing to have when you're trying to get the money in the bank so that you can get back to building your business. The other thing to keep in mind is who you pick to have on your side. What's important for you when picking your investors and what you want to prioritize. So at the end of 2011, we started raising our Series A, and we had developed some good relationships with people. We kind of had our top list, and we knew who we'd potentially like to work with. Even so, fundraising is an incredibly exhausting process, and it's pretty much all-consuming. Probably some of you here have been through it, but if you haven't, you definitely have to have nerves of steel and be ready for a ride. And so with us, we prioritized basically picking someone who was passionate about our idea as much as we are, really was going to be patient because we knew this wasn't going to be an overnight success, and also someone who was a pro-founder, someone who was founder-focused and really recognized that the value that we brought to this incredible mission. And then the other thing is that this is kind of a personal motto, but you're going to have to hustle. Basically, if you can focus in on a short amount of time where you're just focused on raising, that's probably going to be the most efficient. So rather than dragging it out over a 6-month period and having a slow time for raising that round, if you can do it in 2 months, then you can get back to building the business. But the key thing to think about is it's a very stressful process, and hopefully and luckily you'll have different term sheets at the end of it. You and your founders are a team. So, through this whole phase of the startup, there's going to be a lot of stress, and fundraising, the seed or the A is the first time to really stress test that. Can we be a team? We need to be supportive and get through this together. So I'm super fortunate to have 2 really awesome founders, and we dealt with it together, and we were able to raise a $13 million Series A at 9. And really, it's a process, but it's also a lot of fun. And I learned so much from raising, and now I actually advise a lot of different startups on these different tips, like kind of hands-on, because no matter what you're raising for, it's going to be very similar, and you can kind of apply the strategy. So keep in mind, just if you plant the good seeds, you strike when the iron's hot, and you surround yourself with great people, you're going to be able to raise a phenomenal round. And I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you so much.